Welcome, Sreejith. Welcome to this episode of SignalQuest with BVHK.
Hi, Harish. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. I know it's BVHK here. Otherwise, we know Harish for more than a couple of decades. Yeah. Hi. Thanks for having me. Hey.
So thanks, Sreejith, and matching you on the black color as well today. Uh,
Yeah. Thank
we
you.
do
I
it.
don't have any other color. The problem is not that I, I only have a couple of white. Yeah, but white is difficult to manage, maintain. So now I am going to earlier only black. So
Right. Yeah. So I wanted to ask a lot of questions about the black, but before that, just
uh,
in case someone else eavesdrops on our conversation, right? How would
uh,
you describe yourself, Sreejith?
I am a pessimistic, confused Mallu trying to fight all these complexities and make something meaningful out of life. That's what I would want to. Eh? The- So I usually, people usually ask, why are you going, putting all your weaknesses out there? Then I think judging is over. Now you can't judge me anything beyond that. That's what I am. So now, so yeah.
So how many pessimistic, confused Malu entrepreneurs do you know? I don't know any. So how many do you know?
And there are quite a lot of them. So let me know quite a lot of them.
No, but are they
Uh,
pessimistic and confused?
Uh, yeah, that I don't know. I don't know. Like, yeah, eh, must be. Everybody must be. Like, not. I don't think. Uh, everybody in their personal space must be. So
And
yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Otherwise, so I was watching a podcast of Nikhil Kamath of late, where Kishore Biani, Nikhil Kamath, who was that? A couple of more guys. I think I'm forgetting who it was. So one thing which I felt cool listening to them is you have to be unconventional. You have to be. You can't be comfortable with whatever. Only then you can make something. I think उस मामले में तो है. बाकी those guys have arrived in life. Yeah, but yeah. At least I hope I have some traits to reach where those guys have reached. So yeah. So confused and not uh, beginning doubtful about yourself. I don't know whether all the startup founders said, "Well, no, don't put that outside for the investors to see. They may not be confident enough to put the money." That's also the reason probably we could not raise much money. But I think fake करें तो कभी तो पकड़ा जाएगा. So it's better to be natural.
right. And I think that is perfectly in sync with your brand identity and your personal brands as well for both you and Puru.
Yeah.
So I will, completely vouch for that, that you are all time.
Yeah. So I know you also will be the biggest customer who has more made in a customer lifetime value maximum spend. I don't think anybody else would have done the kind of stuff which you and Sirisha does in terms of shopping of True Elements. I'm sure since beginning. So yeah. Thanks for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So and thank you to the whole True Elements team for actually putting out such great products. And it's not out of any love for you only, right? Yes. Products stood on their own feet, which is why we used to love those products. I know
Yeah.
every product is coming from you guys.
Yeah. 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 I think that's how it must be. Otherwise, after a point of time, because I personally, again, I know that I'm digressing from the agenda you have to discuss. Because when you buy I try buying most of the D2C brands because me
Right.
being a startup, but the stickiness sometime after a point of time when you uh, probably you might buy because of the off to the founder or his narrative, but after a point of time, the product has to deliver, and then still the founder still has to be what he was. Because
Correct.
there are some cases when you see the product, you go and buy, and after a point of time, you realize, boss, I don't like this founder's overall outlook, overall value system. I drop the product, right?
Right.
So that also happens. So I think both are required, but I don't know which one is more, which one is less. It probably depends upon the product. It might change.
Correct. Who you interact with first? Do you know the product because
Product
of them,
first, and yeah,
or
yeah.
because of the product?
Yeah. So there are some products which I want to buy because that there's nobody else there. But I don't like the founder at all for whatever he is. So so I love the product, but still 1% conversion होता है ना, उसमें रह जाते हैं फिर।
Right, right. So I will ask you for the names after the your podcast.
नहीं नहीं, I would not want to be that controversial. नहीं नहीं, I would because I don't want to influence my negative bias because of whatever bag I have for another 4 buyers who probably might not see that, wouldn't have seen that. So let me not
Of
do that.
course. Yeah, yeah. So, Sreejith, did you set out with the whole objective that you were going to become an entrepreneur and you were going to start something? What was it like?
Okay, so I coming from a Kerala communist kind of upbringing. I think if you have grown up in Kerala, you have this communist mindset, is what I would call. You might be a BJP also, but I have cousins who are hardcore. Outlook is communist, but they are probably okay. So where I am coming from is, so I had that in the sense I want to do good for the society. I want to make an impact in the world. And though I didn't go for my law graduation for that reason, I didn't get an engineering. That's why, well, at that time, paid seat we could not afford, so I could not get crack in engineering. So I went for law. Okay.
Mm.
And again, not exactly that, because so again, so if time permits, so so I took a drop after 12th to get the government seat in engineering. And my maths of 12th was not satisfactory in terms of marks. So I did a re-attempt in that
Mm.
12th break. And Kerala government did not allow, because if you're giving the earlier marks, matlab, last marks, you can't attempt now. There's some such clause like that.
Okay.
So I had to file in High Court and get an injunction. That's the first time I had a low exposure. Not that I was interested, but then when engineering didn't happen, so I went for law. Okay, so then after law, I did in during the 5 years, I did a lot of social work. So in 2001, I got the best volunteer under NSS for the state of Karnataka Governors Award, because I did uh, really a lot of work in that
Mm.
5 years, because the professor who was anchoring that cell was good. I bonded with him in the first year. Usually there are some hooks for you, right?
Correct.
Well, if I tell that I wanted to do good, that's not the reason, but the reason was this, and then that happened, right?
Mm.
And then, so because of that, I want to do something in the uh, big impact kind of work.
Mm.
And logical next step was do some MSW. So I tried for TIS. Okay, I came for TIS entrance, and that time Symbiosis was also coincidentally when I was here. The I had given a written test, but the GDPI was the same time. Otherwise, I don't think I would have come all the way from Kerala for this. TIS came, TIS didn't happen. Like the TIS app, the way process is that written test happens and then there's a GDPI. After GDPI, you get to know then and there you're out or in, right?
Okay.
So I
Mm.
got to know I was out, and after 2 days, this was happening in Pune. I thought, let me hang around and come and do this, though it was not my part of. Okay. Then this happened, MBA happened, and went with the flow. And again, I remember telling my batchmates I want to do something social impact for during thing, but got a placement. When you have a student loan, you want to also look at that part.
Correct.
Got a placement, and interestingly, again, I think the stars align, or the way Steve Jobs says, when you look back, things connect, right? So
Correct.
my first job was with TVS in Chennai, and I used to read, but I used to read bits and bits, not like structured reading, because again, I think small town Kerala, like there's no
Mm.
library, and you don't have books, right? You only have read what you got, right?
Correct.
And nobody asked us to go and read, right?
Correct.
And there's nobody, unlike the current generation, nobody asked us to go and read, and I never read, except the academic reading. But TVS helped me. Like the factory was 1 hour away from Chennai. I was staying in Chennai. 1 hour, 40 minutes one way. So you have 1 hour, 20 minutes to kill, and
Mm.
you have a library in the factory with good curated books. And that's when I started reading Jack Welch and a lot of stuff. So then that's when I started having my first idea book. Okay. Then again, I don't know why I moved from the social to capitalistic kind of stuff. I don't
Mm.
know the reason.
Mm.
Reason is it because MBA influenced it, or is it because the fun of money hit me? I don't know. Okay, I don't know the
Mm.
reason. I never thought. Probably if I sit and try, there could be some
Right.
reason. Yeah, but
Mm.
that's when I started first writing my ideas book. So I had a book, a black book. So starting from, I think I remember a lot of ideas which became big. Right. So I had that book. This is 2005, right? And then 2007, Puru, my current co-founder, was doing his summer internship when he was doing his FMS MBA. So that's when so he was staying with us. That by the time I had married, and his sister is my wife, so
Right.
he was staying with us during internship. So then I mentioned, yeah, I have this book. And I also want to do. So that's when stars aligned and we started thinking together. Okay. And then coincidentally, he got a student exchange kind of stuff to China from FMS. He managed 1 month. And so again, communist people have fascination towards China, right?
Right.
China to मतलब कुछ तो कर रहा है, हम kar nahi rahe. So
Uh,
when he went to China and told boss, that's a fascinating country. And if you know 2007-8, we were all importing all the stuff from China, and that's the time
right.
it started in massively, right? So
Mm.
हमको लगा boss हम उधर से क्यों लाऊं? Like why can't we take stuff from here, there? Because I'd read about China. I'd read about a bit about China. He has read, and he also had traveled extensively in China for a month. So it's an interesting country. There's a lot of cultural similarity. So probably there could be something which we could export from here to China, right, and do something. So managed an opportunity within Cognizant to go to China. And though I didn't tell my boss that I'll go there and quit in a year,
Mm.
right? So plan was that my wife also got an opportunity within Infosys. Idea was she will continue working, I'll quit.
Right.
But year and a half in there, realized was China is not a country which I would want to start
Mm.
because again, another connection. I did my law. I cherish democracy, freedom. I can't relate to place where my team member when I landed first time asked that. Is your who will be your next king? Hello, next king. Huh? So they actually thought Manmohan Singh was the prime minister that time.
Right.
The turban he was wearing is the king's. I am not. That's what my team member thought. मेरा boss ये नहीं है. That's when I realized no, they have not never voted in life. They don't know what
Right.
election is, right?
Mm. Mm.
So and again, you need to manage the system. You in
Correct.
China, you need to manage system. Either you need to have a Chinese local who will be with you. That's what all the big companies do, right? Because that's a big market too for anybody. But we are a
Mm.
small. You can't start up this. Like
Right.
probably I am not the right person to start up. I
Mm.
can't tell
Mm.
that. I am not the person. So then came back and then the journey started. Came back, quit, and after quitting, first person whom we met were you, right? If you remember, 2012, 2011, 2012.
Right.
So that's been the journey,
And the rest in history.
and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So a few things that you mentioned, Sreejith, which I was curious about, right? You mentioned about your, communist thoughts and, how democracy is such an important thing for you. And I understand where you are coming from, but I wanted to put that in the context of a company, right? Especially a startup, where you really need everyone to be devoted to the cause, because you are really going after something big, and it's not something which can happen just by the power of one person or two people, right? You need the entire team sort of running together. So there is a fine balance between empowering them with the right kind of information and knowledge so that they are all with you. But again, you're not sure if they are with you or not. Decision making, should it be democratic? Should it be, because it will also delay decision making, which is the contrast that we keep hearing between India and China all the time. Right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if you take these kind of concepts and try to look back at how your journey has been, what were the things that you observed? What would you have done differently? Anything on that, right?
Okay, differently. Not exactly on what the context you created, democracy and empowerment and communication freedom. So that I think we because most of my team joined as freshers. Most of the team who are functional heads, except the go-to market or demand generation place. Rest all backend tech, backend finance, all were the guys who have joined us as clean slate in our earlier startup pre-True Elements, right?
Correct.
So, and not all of them, like there's a lot of people who moved out as well, but whoever stayed today have stayed with us. So the value system was already, they knew average tenure of that bunch is 11, 12 years, right? So on True Elements is only 8 years, right? So they knew us, they knew what our mission is, and we also had the trust in them, right? And so fundamentally, what does democracy to me is until uh, uh, until you get to know a person, it makes you trust the system, right? So, right, what it does, and at the core is that you can't trust anyone on day zero, right? But if somebody have come through this, because the levers are so strong that you can throw the person in future whenever, right? But so it gives you the fundamental pillars to build the trust on, right? That's a trust building system, right? So in an organization, when you spend so much time in it, so that was already done, right? But that comes with a caveat for a founder, right? When you have a bunch of guys or sizable bunch of guys are of that nature, right? What happens into the organization is your organization may not be the right place for a new person or a new idea, because new person will have to fight because I mean, in the organization we worked earlier, Cognizant, right? There used to be a trend that people used to look at your employee ID before you talk. Are you right? Are you 10, right? Are you 13 starting, right? And then you start judging whether how much weightage should I give to this guy, because how much power this guy has, right? I knew that because I've been in that organization. I've been in HR. Even after I knew that, uh, we needed a shake-up by a potential investor for us to course correct in 2022. Okay. If you remember, that is the time we spoke to you to evaluate, can we take your help? Eventually, and we were not sure what the problem is. We didn't go ahead. But that shake-up was done by a potential investor who was looking at us to invest. He or that team, it was he plus she, whatever. So they made us realize that you need to shake up the system and get some people so that these guys get uncomfortable. Okay. We did that. And we did that. Okay. We so from an organizational culture standpoint, that was achieved. Okay. But what subsequently didn't achieve, because of which we had to let go of some of those beautiful people, was the external business changed. Okay. When you get such senior guys with high cost into the organization, because all of them came with 8, 9, 10 years Ivy League kind of background with good pedigree employees, is the cost of resource, the overall FOH goes up. And if your business doesn't grow during that time, it's going to hit you. And macros changed, and we had to course correct. But what I'm trying to tell is, so we had to do that course correction of shaking up the system, right? But it in the current thing, right? So so again the democracy and all this. So when we were building, I worked in Tata Motors before Cognizant, and we know none of the manufacturing companies have workers on the roll of the company, right? Because at the scale it is difficult to manage, right? Trust is possible. Managing a small group is well and good. When you hit beyond 100, 200, unionization would happen, all those things would happen, and then it's going to be difficult. Okay. But we wanted to break that style of building a manufacturing setup. So we always believe that all the employees have to be on the roll of the organization, because we were building a opaque packaged food brand, and a consumer is going to trust us on the food, right? And if I can't trust my employee who will pack that food, then is fundamentally the system, whatever we are building is not right. Not that world is wrong. What we are building is not right. So because of that, we built all the employees from day one on roll. We even gave ESOPs throughout, right? But at the scale when we reached 500, 600 people, it is a challenge, right? Okay. It is a challenge. And then in the current scenario, when Marico is completely buying out, uh, you can't run, or there is no playbook out there right now to run a company at that scale, which this kind of, you call it democratic,
Right.
communist kind of outlook.
Yeah.
There is no playbook right now out there in India, at least. I think there
Right.
are some couple of playbooks in US.
Right.
Okay, but I think there the labor code is more differently constructed. Okay,
Yep.
as such, probably there it's possible in Indian. Uh, it's there's no playbook. Nobody has been able to do it. Right.
Right. Right.
So yeah, that's what the influence of communism, democracy, and all this. I
Right.
don't know if I went all over the place. Yeah, but yeah,
No,
that's there.
this is very interesting. So you mentioned there's no playbook for running it at that scale. But do you think it is a norm for companies, or maybe at least the new age, B2C, for the related brands kind of people, to be doing more of, what you did? Uh, is that the norm, or are you still the exception even in 2025?
We are still an exception. Yes, still an exception. Just to give you the context, so with Marico, I don't think they'll be able to do that in that way. So they might change. As of today, we are still an exception because the world also has changed. Just to give you like, we are talking about gig workers. We are talking about right lot of stuff. But I don't think in a manufacturing, if you are highly labor intensive, okay, which is the case with most of the startup because we have so many SQs we have to change, and you can't invest heavy on machineries when you have so many changes, right? So in that context, there is no other way apart from doing this. And again, it's a lot of distraction from your core business, right?
Right.
If you have to spend time in people issues, people management, it is a distraction. And that too, when you have raised money and you're on a treadmill whose speed is managed by a VC, right?
Right.
You should be only focusing on running and not on a lot of other stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that's where I would put it.
Right. So when you obviously did not budge from, the way you wanted to build the company,
Uh,
yes, you must have faced resistance, both from investors, sometimes even, maybe your team
yeah, yeah,
inside as well, right? That this is not how I've seen my previous organization done. Why
yeah,
am I doing
yeah,
it this way? What is the benefit of this? It may
yeah,
be a philosophical leap of faith for you guys.
yeah, yeah.
Look, but then, how would you convince all these parties that no, this is how we want to do it?
So that's what I was telling. Till the day we have complete control, right? Some stuff we tell boss, this is the culture. This is a no compromise. Okay, we
Right.
have built on it. Okay, this is what we believe in. The day we change our belief, you could probably convince me faster. Okay, as of today, we have lived by this for last 13 odd years across 4 startups, and I don't think that reason has hit us in any of our journey. So
Mm.
as of now, and obviously the day an investor comes and tells us, and we are in a dire need of that funds, and we tell us, I will not invest until you do all this. It depends upon whether that's going to be a survival call. I don't know, right? Yeah. As of now, we have had instances where people have raised questions, but yeah, it's not hit us in our productivity, in our day-to-day operations, in our P&L. So why not?
But then, has this not been a role model for other companies saying that if you have done such a fantastic job now following this model, why don't we also do it?
There are a few startups who are doing it. Okay. So not at the scale at which we are in, right? I know in few bunches in Pune. So I keep chatting up with them on the challenges of doing it. And so only thing is that at what scale will they will they have to plug out and go to the universal model? That I don't know. Or that only time will tell.
Right, right. And you mentioned that you had given ESOPs to everyone in the company.
Not everyone, because obviously we need to be sure that people. So, okay, now the ESOP, we had in the ESOP sheet two, right? One is as a reward. Second, for going beyond Call of Duty.
Right.
Okay, we put a marks, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, and then like there are roles where we can't give the salary, right? What the person is asking for. Then we give ESOPs. If the person sticks through, and then they earn it out. And though I give a goody employee culture, probably no other company will have a 15-day notice period. We have 15-day notice period.
Correct.
Okay. The reason is we are brutal for non-performers. We don't want to have 1 day extra if you are not. If we can't match, let's break apart. And so that means we are confident our system will throw out anybody who is not culturally fit or not performing. So anybody stays through for 2 years, let the person earn out the ESOPs. That's for the reward group. That anybody whom we have paid in terms of ESOPs as a salary part. But for all the others, anybody who has done work beyond the call duty, irrespective of he or she what level, we even have given security guards, right? So because the kind of stuff some of them have done is they treat the company as theirs. So why shouldn't they be getting?
Right, right. And how easy or difficult was it to actually explain this whole concept?
Till Marico happened, none of them valued ESOPs. I'll tell you a classic case. There is this my production head, right? So he joined us as our production head when we started production in 2017, right? And 17 to, and we started giving ESOPs in 2017, sometime 2017, 2018. So he has got ESOPs every year. So in 2022, he came and told that can I have more of cash and less of ESOPs? Okay. And so I told, I considered the next cycle. Then Marico happened. Then he saw that value getting built. Okay. Then afterwards, he never came back. So everybody don't realize the value because these are all like probably an Ivy League educated guy or a good school educated mind value. But again, they don't know whether they will stay put for 3 years to for the ESOP to get realized, right? So once they have that doubt whether this place will I stay for 3 years to make me earn that out. Second, will the value of the ESOPs go up? These are the two doubts which people have, right? As long as, and those fear everybody has, right? In the initial phase, everybody has that.
Right.
Okay. And that fear only makes the person devalue ESOPs if you're giving a sizable as reward. Like if you're telling you are getting X salary and I'm giving you X minus 20% in cash and 20% in ESOPs, then obviously you need to be certain that I'm going to be here. You need to be certain that the value which is on the paper is thing, right? So that doubt is more for people who are joining and getting ESOP as part of compensation, right? For the others, it's a motivation because I also have a pie on what I'm doing it here.
Correct. Yeah.
But both the group look at the ESOPs differently.
So did you actually sort of do any education inside the company about what
Yeah.
ESOPs are?
Yes,
And,
yes.
how
So,
would that be taken?
this is last cycle, what happened when Marico happened, there was a secondary which happened, right? And secondary which happened. And so again, so we didn't create an ESOP trust and give the ESOPs on day one. Because then what happens when we are making the employees vest the ESOP, you have to pay tax on a paper value which we don't know what will it realize. So we didn't create an ESOP. We allocated and we kept it in a pool. And when Marico happened, all those got vested, right? Some of those got secondary exit also. And the amount of tax they had to pay, right? We had to go and tell boss, don't worry, this is because it got vested now. You're not doing all secondary. And even people who were educated could not digest the fact that boss, मेरे को खाली मिला इतना, उसमें से मेरे को इतना टैक्स देना पड़ेगा, आगे जाके ये आएगा ना पैसा. So like even educated people, we have to explain. Some of them understood, most of them didn't. So if that is the case with educated people, these 12th pass guys, I'm sure they just trusted ये लोग कुछ तो दे रहा है, कुछ तो होएगा, मतलब चलो.
Right, that's where the trust comes in, right? I mean, they put their lives in your hands.
Yeah.
So this is just one of those aspects for them.
Correct.
Yeah. And coming back to your products, Shinjit, I think one of the first products that I was a very big fan of and you discontinued and I keep, pulling your leg for them forever is the honey charms, right? I think it was one of the best products. But, of course, you had business reasons to discontinue it. But how would you go about coming up with, different products?
Okay, so when you are an online brand, that's a marketplace driven brand, not the current online brand. Current online brands are more influenced by, let's say, in food, quick commerce. When in quick commerce, you will not get too many products to be listed there, and it's like in the world. When you are marketplace, Amazon, Flipkart, that day, Shop Close, Snapdeal, all those times. Uh, because there are multiple opportunities in multiple categories, right? If you be a niche in small, right, the brand building takes more time. That's also our approach. Our
Yeah.
approach is was in the category we want, in the kind of brand we want, let's touch all the possible people in that category and make the brand quicker. Eh? And listing doesn't cost you anything. Only advertisement will cost you. And if you can list and you can keep optimizing the keywords, have the right keyword and spend wisely, you can build solid. And for that, you need to have the backend. And that's how we started our own factory because the launch time has to be shortest, right? And that also means that you need to have a good churn of products being thrown out. So we used to have interns in our factory. Is a regular affair, right? There is a food tech intern, there's a nutritionist intern. There's interns available. Like we have so many schools in Pune. There's interns available throughout the year. Use them, keep the experiments on throughout this, and not every products will come out to the market. Some will come. So you have that top funnel in a big way. Then we have a every week review. We used to call roadmap call, where the product development team, quality team, marketing team, and 1 hour call and account management, digital account management team, all are just there's a half part where we review the competition, what are they doing, then on review on what our team is doing, where it is. So there they will tell, "Hey, ये चल रहा है, इसमें कुछ कर सकता है क्या, अरे ये idea." So and again we also made our packaging so in a such a way that um, we can launch very quickly. It is if you see our black pack, reason being obviously we want to communicate black and white. Second is when you have black pack and if you paste black sticker, you will not get to know it's not a pre-printed pouch.
Correct.
It is just a sticker on top of it. We did that because we want to launch quickly, right? We changed the design earlier. We used to have a white kind of pack to this for that reason, right? And we have that has helped, and also we also discontinue products in the same pace. Otherwise, you can't do that. Otherwise, it becomes obscene. We also discontinue in that pace because that's how we have built a brand with too little money in comparison to a lot of our peers, right?
Yeah.
We are not raised too much equity to the leg of exit journey in comparison to a lot of other startups. That was possible because of this.
Right, right. And again, is this a norm in the industry where people try to build a lot of product categories, different SKUs, or do they go after one or two sort of hero products that we are known for this?
So left to founders, most of the founders will want to go a little wide because we don't know what will work. Okay. But when you speak to investors, they'll tell, "Oh, what is your hero product? What is that product which gives you at least 20-30% of revenue?" So anybody who is in the fundraise cycle can't do this, right? So obviously you'll have pressure was don't go and keep launching products and jacking up your numbers. Okay. But in online world, that is the way you can build quickly without too much bleeding. Not now. I'm telling when in the marketplace era, that is pre-COVID. Post-COVID, when this 10-minute quick commerce world, you don't get so many opportunities with a quick commerce to go and pilot.
Correct.
And you can't get so many customers to your website because that also comes at a very high cost because Meta, Google, everything is expensive, right? Meta, Google, everything is expensive. So in the marketplace world, that was the way we could have built. So anybody who has built during that era has done that. For example, Mama Earth has done it, right? Most of us who were in that era have done it.
So now, when the quick commerce, like you say, the very limited choice, right? Because quick commerce will go with the most selling products and SKUs in their category itself, right? Does that sort of then put a constraint on new brands and new products to come from the established brands? I
It's
see
it's a-
that.
it's it's like history. Like there were problems. There is new problems every time, right? But the world finds a way to navigate and come out. For example, let's say till 2020, 2012, 2013, right? That is the era of big bazaars and we don't even know Spencer's and those era, right? So those times the challenge was the same, right? You only had big bazaars who will give you this much space.
Right.
So you need to manage the purchase guy to make sure that you get more space, you get the right PO, right? Now that space has gone virtually, space is narrowed down further, right? Virtually, and there is a gatekeeper who is a quick commerce account manager who does the same, right? Then when from that big bazaar era we came to the marketplace era where Amazon told boss list how much ever you want. I don't have any restrictions. All is yours. Okay. Then now we have come to quick commerce. Now the next era would be something between the marketplace and quick commerce together because the opportunity or what the brands want is we want democratic level playing field like an Amazon and a Flipkart, not like a pure play quick commerce, right? So that's an opportunity which is there for somebody to go and crack, which will also make more brands come, which will also make more more options for consumers. Right now, for example, I was meeting this founder from women hygiene. Okay, so if you go to quick commerce and buy this, I don't know what is it called. What is that kit for pregnancy test kit?
Right.
Okay, if you go to most of the quick commerce, there's only one option available.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And that is super expensive than the rest.
Correct.
Okay. Now, consumer doesn't have an option right now.
Right.
And in the lure of getting it in 10 minutes, you'll go and buy.
Right.
But if, let's say, I could have 10 options there and
Mm.
one is cheaper, one is this, I need to have the option, right? Let me decide whether I want a premium or a cheap. So
Yeah.
right now, so what I'm trying to do, there's an opportunity, somebody will crack. The barrier there is because end of the day, quick commerce need to have small warehouses, small shelf places. I can't have too much inventory.
Right.
If tech can crack that inventory management problem, it also will go back to the democratized world very soon. Is what my belief is.
Okay, okay. And in this context, where do you see the role of influencers? And you'll have to probably educate me a lot on this because I'm not really on Instagram. I have an account, but I don't use Instagram a lot. But for example, for CDU compounds, Amit Verma's podcast is like an influencer channel for us because he speaks about it. He was a user. So even though it is a commercial ad, it sounds more like a testimonial, right? Because he was a user and he was very
User. Huh.
and that's our only customer acquisition channel for CTU compounds.
Mm.
So we know that it works because he has this following. If he says that I had a great experience with CTU compound, those people come. Others
Come.
don't even talk about CTU compounds anymore.
Yeah.
So I understand that this is how influencers might be working. Now let's take this example of the pregnancy, test kit. Right? So are there options today that are, where there are these influencers who have a following in whatever uh, means of content, but they are able to sustainably sell, a product uh, without having to compete on a quick commerce platform and things. Is that, I mean, you may end up selling 10, 15 or products, but that is not going to be enough for the company to survive. So is that happening today? Do you see that happening? If not in India, other countries, what's the state there?
Yeah, it's happening in India. It's happening big time in US of the world. It's happening in India already. Okay, because what an influencer in the social world does is now a person whom I can relate to,
Correct.
whom I follow because I like the value system, I like the delivery, I like what one of the city where she or he is coming from, right? So the hook is much stronger than a celebrity influencer whom we are just awe of. That there's nothing else, right? Like there's nothing else. It's like wow, right? But here it is like a friend recommending because end of the day, what is happening is the content consumption by people, the relationship you have with your influencer through Instagram, probably in some youngsters, it's much stronger than a sibling living in your house, right?
Correct.
The amount of time you are speaking to your sibling probably is lesser than the amount of time you're spending on this content if that influencer is smart enough. And so that may, and again, so there is an awe there, what Marico, and I think I think yesterday's reading had 57% of current youngsters want to be a social media influencer. Yesterday's article had that percentage, right? So, so that means they strongly believe these guys, right? And and they communicate with them. And it's not just one way, right? They chat, and most of them engage with their audience, right? Unlike a Shah Rukh Khan who just comes on the screen and talks and goes.
Correct.
You don't engage with the person here. Everything is it's not just influencer, it's just a word, but the relationship which is built over a period of time. You communicate, you know the person's life, because what are the influencers? Most of them do, they share their life, right? They are living there, right? So you feel that you know the person so well, and you relate to the person. I chat with the person. So the kind of power some of these people have is immense. It's insane, right? And so, but but my personal opinion is not in all categories.
Okay.
It can't be in all categories. Yeah, but there is this influencer in Kerala. She, over a period of 2-3 days, sold 57 flats, each worth 1.2 crore, just through her Instagram channel.
Wow.
Right? And again, Kerala is a big market for this, because people have a lot of time,
Correct.
people have money, okay,
Yeah.
and are educated, matlab, end of the day, NRI sitting there, they have this nostalgia thing. Somebody saying, so that works. So answering your question, yeah, that's a big market, and uh, to me, to frankly, we are not the category, we are not the brand who have leveraged it to the maximum. We are not.
Okay.
There are brands who have done much better job than us. Okay, because it has to naturally come to you as a founder, right?
Right.
It has to naturally, because when it's like yesterday I was speaking to a founder. Now I know that I'm digressing. When you hire from big corporations, okay, the senior leaders believe that I need an ecosystem to deliver. I need an agency ecosystem to deliver in a marketing context, right? In a startup, you don't need an ecosystem. You are everything,
Correct.
right? And and when you are not naturally into that, which I am not to an extent, which some of others are, so they are able to naturally do that to a big extent. Otherwise, you are using your team to do it. Okay, there you can do immense work. There are brands who are doing it, but probably even our team are also not naturally into it. So
Right. And do you think you could have done more? You could have done,
yeah,
more
yeah.
with this?
Yes.
Mm.
Because of late, though, what happened is I started using the what you call founder credibility only last 1 year.
Right.
Okay, not before that. Okay,
Mm.
and and while I was doing it, last 1 year was a very critical year for us. We were very busy in our own world,
Mm.
creating stuff, delivering numbers, creating content, all those. We
Mm.
never spoke to people outside. Now,
Mm.
since last couple of months when I'm speaking, there are so many people who actually like were following and reading and listening to us. That's when now I am off late. Even yesterday I was at a startup event. So people know more because of that, right?
Right. Mm.
So I think we should have done it earlier. So we actually thought naturally we are not good at it, because we were comparing ourselves with people whom we thought who were good at it. Okay. But even our delivery, there is an audience who liked it. Like
Correct. Correct.
there is an audience who liked it. We thought our audience is not that. Okay.
Right.
So it's a discovery. It's a discovery. So right now, so even we had a chat
Right.
a month back on that. So yeah. So we strongly believe we could have done much more.
Right. Right. And corollary to that is, Rohit Sharma, right? The
Uh,
superstar celebrity endorsement advertisements. Uh,
yeah.
are those kind of, yeah, and I'm sure it would have cost you a lot, right? Going back to your earlier discussion that we just had about, launching multiple products versus having one or two hero products. I
Hmm.
would really endorse it like that is like making a bet on one big, uh, one big shot, right? Uh,
Yeah.
how did that pan out for you? And, what was that experience like? You didn't do a lot of big celebrity endorsements
No,
for
no.
after. So,
Only one. Only like,
yeah, yeah. So how
that
was
was the first one.
experience? And, what was your more, how would you look back at it? What would you have done different?
Yeah, so the reason why we took the biggest name out there, the Indian cricket captain out there,
Right.
the reason is because uh, we were doing a lot of good work, but people were not knowing us, right? People only we actually have built purely on organic customer reviews, because that's how we built in Amazon. Because when we were building in Amazon, we didn't have the money, right?
Correct.
We are not raised, so it was purely organically review on pure customer reviews and then activations and all those. And we have a bunch of good products, but not many consumers know it. So we needed somebody who will just moment you get associated about ye kaun hai? Like, which is this brand, right? So we wanted that. And then obviously then we were dabbling between should we have a Bollywood celebrity, should we have a sports person, okay? And the reason why we went for a sports, so we had valued a lot of Bollywood guys as well, because sizable consumers of ours are in offline consumers, not online consumers, are there in south of India and
Okay.
east. Okay. And though Bollywood is not known, but there's no fan following. Everybody knows everyone, but they don't associate. Well, ये
Right.
कौन है? मतलब, ठीक है, I know him. That's it. That's it.
Right.
Right. So then it was clear we can't have a Bollywood. It has to be a non-Bollywood. Okay. Then we had evaluated everybody in cricket. Let me brutally honest that we started with Dhoni, we started with Kohli, Hardik Pandya, and then we had a bunch of guys, right? But then second filter which came, which is what our brand is, right? Uh, we are not promulgating that you need to be a fitness freak to be a consumer of True Elements. Okay, you need to be a health aware consumer, right, who will not be going and running a half marathon every week and a 10 kilometers every day. Okay. I have my daily life. I have a 9 to 6 job. I have family to take care. I also have to take care of myself.
Correct.
Okay. I am a homemaker. I have too much care, course to take care. I also have to take care of my. So somebody whom I can relate to. Okay.
Right.
And so then Kohli was out, right? Somebody he's there, right? He's either there in the top when it comes to fitness, right?
Right.
Okay. Then obviously we were evaluated Dhoni a lot. Okay. But only thing is that we were not sure. Will Dhoni retire last year? Dhoni would have
Correct.
last and beyond. Okay.
Right.
And then another thing which we also wanted to do was we were already very strong in Kerala, Tamil Nadu. Okay. We wanted to be Dada in the home ground, which is West. Okay. Then so somebody who's not health freak, somebody who's true, right? Brutally honest, like, but not too honest to the extent that I go and create controversy, right? Like that's not True Elements, right? We are honest, but we are not out there being honest and to create controversy. Right? And West, everybody is a staunch following West. Okay. And somebody whom we think is the right person who can talk to Elements. That's how Rohit Sharma happened.
And how was the experience like, because it was the first celebrity endorsement?
Yeah, first celebrity thing, and then folks, I still remember the day we went reached for the shoot. It was happening in Mehboob studio in Bandra, right? Poncha to there's a huge studio. First time I'm going to a studio. I've never been to a studio before, obviously. So I reached in the morning, and when I reached, there's a studio, and outside there's a two vanity vans. Okay, then there's a huge shed, whatever, there's a tent where there is a buffet food happening. So I reached, obviously हम तो ब्ला ब्ला कर में जाते हैं. So ब्ला ब्ला कर में गया, last leg ऑटो में गया, पहुंच गया. पहुंचने के बाद मतलब चाय तो पिया था सुबह से, early left. So Puru told, मतलब come have breakfast. मैं बोला नहीं यार बाहर अच्छा, मैं obviously महबूब स्टूडियो है. So नहीं, this bill also is coming to us only. Yeah. So even if we eat or not, so that's been our like. So that kind of spend we have never done, right? Boss, well, studio है, light चल रहा है, vanity van खड़ा. Obviously that day, I'm sure that time if you have read my BP, it would have gone up all the way up. Eh? So we're not used to that kind of spending, right? So a couple of founders whom I spoke to before it was, you will probably spend worth of your first house you would have bought on this. right? That is the amount of, on just shoot. I'm not talking about the celebrity. Just shoot today, expense is that much. Celebrity is much beyond, right? So you're not used to that. Obviously, we were very apprehensive till the campaign went live, but Rohit Sharma opened a lot of doors for us. Even today, people introduce us. This is Rohit Sharma brand. Okay, so it opened a lot of doors for us, and he delivered. He delivered in terms of numbers. Like we had year on year roughly 250% growth year on year in overall True Elements. I don't know how much percentage Rohit Sharma because you can't arrive at that, but it has worked. It has worked.
Would you do another celebrity endorsement again?
Depends upon at what stage, right? One thing, another thing which you also learned is, right? Now, this influencer, micro influencers for each territory. Okay. It is because we didn't have the time last year. We wanted then. If you had the time uh, uh, and the similar kind of money, you go and get lot of, and you need to select the right influencer because they do, those guys can create enough nuisance value also, right? If you have time, probably you can also look at influencers, somebody for this part of Kerala, somebody for this part of Kerala, somebody for this part of Assam. We have done that also last year, but that also in a way, probably I would experiment now if you have the time.
Okay. That's very interesting and opens up a lot of things which again I'm not privy to at this point of time. So it's like a learning, that's for me. So on D2C brands. When you mentioned the year-on-year growth, right? You had what, five consecutive years of more than 100% growth?
So we always, since beginning 2017, we always have 100% growth from 2017 till 2020.
So 5 years, right?
100, more than 100%.
Right.
Okay. Now, this is a statement I'm making. I don't know whether I should, but I think with all the other founders out there, what happens when you are, it's like somebody who's not had money throughout life. Suddenly lottery lag gaya. Okay. Most often those people do a lot of mistakes. Okay. So when you have had, uh, so 2013, 2011 Puru started and 2012 I joined. So since 2011 onwards, I was involved. We have always had, we were short of money throughout till 2022. We never could invest for tomorrow. We were always surviving for today. Right. But in 2022 is the first time we had money for tomorrow, day after, and the day after that. Right. And then suddenly you are coming out of a uh, COVID year when things are all hunky dory. Like everybody's eating healthy, people are shopping online. So we did a lot of mistakes in the first year of Marico. Because Marico gave us a lot of money.
Right.
Okay. And we are coming out after 21, 22, which was the kick-ass years where people were out eating healthy, people were buying online. So we thought, ki boss, abhi to duniya hamara hai, right? We went and did a lot of mistakes and it costed us. So 22, FY23 is the first year we went, we did still 50% year on year growth.
Right.
But we were very uncomfortable with that kind of stuff. We went into a shell that are we capable kind of stuff, right? Thanks to people around us, yeah, we came out and delivered. So message to a lot of founders who have done a lot of year of bootstrapping and then small rounds is that the biggest learning one need to have, which we don't value, is how to spend money. Earning money is very easy. Okay. Spending money is very difficult.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Everybody thinks the other way. Everybody thinks earning is difficult, spending is easy. No. Earning is very easy, right? Because if you spend, because you can go back and because the kind of mistakes you will do, you can't flow back.
Right. Yeah.
And when you don't have the money, you can do a lot of course corrections. So, summarize to 22 is the first year we had 50% growth. And yeah, then we have last year we had 240. You have come back. Yeah, but yeah. So that's been the journey. 100, then 50, and then a little short of 75, then 225.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's very interesting because, alignment design, you've been working with a lot of these PE funds
Yeah.
and working with their portfolio companies, right?
Uh,
So it's very similar to this, that the fund is saying that first we have the money, but you need to figure out how you're going to spend, like,
Spend it.
who you're
Yeah.
going to get in as your CXOs. Are you aligning those people? Are you aligning your operations to this vision? Because otherwise, we have our vision for the next 3, 5 years. This is what we want to do. And in the P space, market risk is even less, right? It's not a 0-1, no binary decisions. Your niche piece there means it's only a function of 5 to 15%
Correct, correct, correct.
going to fit there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But the biggest challenge is the fund is ready with the checkbook. How are people going to spend that money, right? That is where people get stuck. And I can, relate to that with the kind of companies that we are working with.
Yeah,
The example that you gave, right? It's a very real example, and not
yeah.
product people are ready or prepared for that. They are also geared towards getting that, funding or getting.
Correct, 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 correct.
But then what next?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You almost sort of get paralyzed.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you make mistakes,
Yeah,
right?
you made very expensive mistakes.
Really, really, really.
Mm, mm,
Yeah,
mm.
yeah. Very, very, very interesting. Couple of last questions that I wanted to ask you, Sreejith. If you were to advise, say, CEO who's going to build some D2C business in 2030, right? Uh,
2030.
2030, yeah, 5 years down the line.
Mm.
What would your advice be to that person starting today?
First, I don't think I'm qualified to comment on that because that's one work which I'm working on. Okay.
Mhm.
Because again, I think I'll digress from the question, but I think for this is important because what happens is now the world is like my son, he's 16 years old. The language he uses, I don't know, right? The words he uses, I don't have any sense of what it is. Okay. And their outlook, I don't understand. And what happens is when we were building, we had mentors who are all people, CXOs who have done in life who are late 50s, early 50s, they have done. Okay. Now, we always have looked up to those guys. Okay. Now, I'm actually personally looking for a person who could mentor me, who is in late 20s, who is a startup kind guy, well, not necessarily successful, because that world, because those are our consumers. Okay. We probably have an influence in what they eat. Okay. But I don't personally know much about the way their world moves around.
Right.
Okay. So when you're talking about 2030, 5 years down the line, okay. In 3 years of AI, we know what has happened to us.
Right.
Right? Right. As of now, I don't know when did I last search in Google. It's only on prompts.
Right.
Right? Right? Now, like the reports we generate right now in 15 minutes is probably 2, 3 weeks work in a days.
Right.
It is just 2, 3 years. So world will change. Like that means like again what because everybody is changing to that world. Like I'm again thanks to CTQ compound 2 days before authors are writing for ChatGPT to create a good summary of their book when somebody's
Correct.
using application, right? That is the world we are in.
Right.
So if I say I know how 2030 is going to be and I can give an advice, I don't know. But one thing which I think will not change what come May is okay. DTC is a because the world, the consumer changes. Consumer is what you're talking about here. The crux is when you're telling consumer changes
Right.
and digital is also changing. Okay. But what would not change is as long as you create a product which stands as value,
Mm.
right? That because end of the day, uh, the value of money might change. I mean, rupee or the dollar will change, but the perceived value which the consumer is buying for, okay, the only one learning whether AI comes, whether our next generation uses some other world, not going to change is that is to be delivered from the day one first transaction, and it has to be delivered throughout. For example, there are brands which keep on discounting, okay, and product is good, but and you love the product, but you still wait for the discount. मेरे को पता है month end में 50% में आने ही वाला है, right? Because that's the value I perceived that product to, right? But if let's say I don't know name the brand, this is shoes, for example, which I wear, okay, I would any day pay, let's say, another 30-40% more than what I have been paying for it. Okay. But I still buy every time for that because from day one, I've been made to believe there is the value for this.
Correct.
So one line was your product need to stand for the value consumer is perceiving it to be, and don't create a confusion in the mind of the consumer throughout the journey, lifetime journey with your brand.
Okay.
That will not change.
Yeah, I think this is very similar to, what Jeff Bezos talks about, why Amazon, has to stand and what are the principles which are going to remain true forever. Nobody is ever going to come and say, oh, I want to pay more, is what, right? So just think to that. Then whatever changes, what are these truths that are not going to change because
Change.
it's another factor.
Yes, yes.
And I think this delivering value is something which, you have to, if you stick to that, then the rest of it, you just take it as a means of the current times, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
It's AI and whatever. And that's why I think your point about understanding your consumer is also very important because what is value for them is
yeah.
unless if you're selling to me, you know me, so you are not going to
On a serious note, let me use this platform. So I'm actually actively looking for a guy whom I can fortnightly go for a run or go for a coffee and understand boss, ये दुनिया होता क्या है मतलब तुम्हारे लिए.
You should start a podcast, Sreejith. Because what I'm doing, and all your lives, which is I'm speaking to you. Yeah. All right, Sreejith, thanks. But before I let you go, I'm going to ask you a couple of, questions, right? This hot take kind of questions.
Okay.
Device, app, or tool that you would keep, even if you have to cut everything else.
Device, app, or tool. I use UpNote for all the notes. So that has across devices. So that's one thing. I still not mastered how to use that perfectly, but yeah, that's one. App. I don't have. I'm a minimalist. I don't except phone. I don't have anything else. So I don't track. I don't. So yeah. So that's the only thing I have. No watch also. So yeah. So there's nothing. Yeah.
Okay. So this is going to be an interesting question to a minimalist. So unlimited budget to fix one global problem. Who are you going to call first?
Sorry. Repeat. I didn't get.
You have unlimited budget to fix one global problem. Who are you going to call first?
My God. Unlimited budget. I need to answer this question. For that I need to understand at least thematically some problem in my mind. I think I don't find anybody alive there to be called, to be frank. Eh? So I don't think any of the resources will help me call the person who is no more. Right? Somebody likes I'm completely inspired by like a Steve Jobs. Right? So such clarity of vision and such clarity of thought, but somebody like this, because alive I'm not able to find anybody there. So that's one person whom I would, right? He has got a lot of stuff which he's loud when it is to be loud, but he's not those kind of loud which is there in the current scheme of entrepreneurs. Yeah, so he could be the one.
Okay, so maybe the unlimited budget should be, used to fix that problem.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
All right. And, the last one, if True Elements were a song right now, what's playing?
My God. This is tough question, sir. All this 1 hour was easy. I would go for that live. I'm not getting the lyrics of that song. There's Amir Khan's song which says in 3 Idiots, life is too short. Chill wala. I don't know what that song.
Hmm.
Matlab, out of control is that I'm not getting the lyrics. I think you got the song.
Out of control.
Ha ha ha.
Ah,
So that song.
all right. Okay. Fantastic. Thanks a lot. Thanks for being a lovely sport with the last three questions. I think, like you said, again, this is so much easier for you.
Yeah. Yes.
And so, well, once again,
Thank
thank
you.
you for not it. This was fantastic.
It was great. I think you asked a lot of questions which I've never got before. So I think it was fun. It's fun. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.